anxious, don't know what to do, I take you by your hand and walk you through every step of the process. So you would definitely want to be a part of Tessa's virtual summits.
Definitely. Well, now I want to be part of Tessa's virtual summit, so
Yeah.
I'll have to find something that works with any one of your upcoming summits. But
You definitely have an invite.
oh, thank you. That was really what I was gunning for there. But The Career Challenges Podcast, a collection of stories about overcoming professional hurdles and learning lessons the hard way. Thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Kyle Werkerly, certified ghostwriter. Welcome back to the Career Challenges Podcast. I'm Kyle Werkerly, of course, and I have with me Contessa Louise Cooper. So Contessa, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh my, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. I am super excited to be here, and I cannot wait to engage and be a part of your community. One of the most interesting questions people ask me is, what do you do? And I do a lot, but I believe that I am graced to do all the things that I do because they're all such a huge part of me. And it really didn't make sense for me to separate that out or just to pick one. They always tell you to niche down, pick one thing and be an expert of it. But if you go to the doctor's office, most of the time they're a general practitioner doctor, which means that they know a lot about a lot of things, and so that's how I am. I know a lot about a lot of things. And so one of the things that I do is that I'm a business coach and a mentor. I work mostly with entrepreneurs and small businesses that's been around for about 1 to 4 years and realize that, hey, maybe I should be further along than I am. Yeah. I also have an online publication called Modern and Alternative Health Magazine. Now, if you notice that all these are kind of in the same realm, they kind of connect the dots. They all kind of go along together. So I have the magazine. I have my coaching. I'm also the president of the Newark Orange Holistic Chamber of Commerce. See a pattern here?
Yeah. I'm seeing it now. Yeah.
Yeah. Last but not least, how I got started in business is that I'm an autism advocate. I have a son who's almost 30 years old. I don't know how he got that old, that has autism. And because of that, I wrote a book. I got into business. I started speaking. I started doing all those things. So that's where it all began for me. And it kind of branched out into all these different areas.
So you're a business coach and mentor of entrepreneurs. Is there a specific type of entrepreneur that you coach and mentor?
Well, it's mostly women. I do mentor some men as well, but I wouldn't say a specific type. Like I have some that are in the healing space. I have some that's in the spirituality space. I have some that are life coaches and business coaches. And it's not that they don't know what they're doing, and that's why I needed a mentor. I believe everyone should have a mentor. Everyone should have somebody that's a couple steps where they want to be, to kind of lead and guide them, somebody who they can bounce ideas off of, someone who can say, I've been there, I've done that, this is the direction that I took, maybe this may help you out as well. So those are the type of people that I work with. Also, I don't work a lot with people who are just now starting out. You've been in business for a while, you kind of know the ropes, you've gotten some of the stuff like, I don't know what I should be doing, or what should I be talking about, or those type of things. You already know what type of business you want to be in. You already know the type of audience you want to reach. Maybe you're not reaching them. Maybe you're not getting enough leads. Maybe you want to start speaking or write a book or something like that. Those are the type of things, or do a summit. Those are the type of things that I can help you with.
Are you based specifically out of Orange, New Jersey, or do you have clients all over?
I have clients all over the world. I remember my first international client. I think I screamed and jumped up and down a few times. So I do have an office located in, Orange, New Jersey, but majority of my clients, are virtual. So wherever you are, if you need my help, I make myself available to you.
Definitely. Definitely. So a previous guest, that makes me think, with the international angle, with a previous guest, Inga Bielinska, she said she has to navigate all these different cultures involved with her international clients. So I'm curious, what's your mindset on navigating, just different cultures, different backgrounds that are probably going to be different from yours?
I totally believe that things like your culture, your spirituality, your belief systems, your upbringing, all those things are extremely important when it comes to coaching, when it comes to mentoring, when it comes to deciding what type of business you want to have. And I take those things into consideration. And so, when I'm sitting down and I'm talking to you, I will ask you those type of things, because if you come from a background where failure is something that's not tolerated, well, that's of course one of the things that we're going to have to work with. Like, what does failure mean now to you that you're an adult compared to maybe how it was drilled into you while you were growing up?
Mm-hmm.
And working with those type of things, because that can be a huge block for you. Like, how come my business is failing? Is it really failing, or are there some lessons you needed to learn? Or there's some programs or processes you need to put in place? So you're not really failing. There are just some things that we need to do in order for you to be more successful in your eyes.
Definitely, definitely. And that reminds me of the story of Thomas Edison. I don't remember the exact wording of it, but Edison had, was trying to make the light bulb, and he had gone through, I think the legend was like 2,000 different modifications or engineering of a light bulb before he got to one that actually worked and was sustainable and, put out enough light to make it, usable. And somebody asked him, well, how does it feel to fail 2,000 times? He said, well, I didn't fail. I just learned 2,000 ways not to do it. And so it was that mindset shift. And so my question to you then, Tessa, is, where was it in your life where you just decided, I'm not failing, I'm just learning differently? When did that happen for you?
Well, that happened for me early on. I was a teenage mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I got started pretty early as far as being a parent. And not only was I a young parent, but I was a young parent of a child who had a disability.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, it's not like now, like everybody knows autism, it's one of those things. There's a lot of resources, a lot of groups, all of that. When I first started, there was nothing.
Wow.
And so I had to figure things out on my own. My child didn't hit milestones. My child was completely different than everybody else. And so failing as a parent was always in the back of my head. You're failing, you're failing, you're failing. Your child should be doing this, your child should be doing that. And I really had to learn that I was not failing as a parent trying to learn my child, trying to figure it out. They say that autism is like a puzzle piece. So I'm trying to figure out this puzzle, the way his mind works, what he likes, what he doesn't like, the way that he communicates. And so it was at that point, it was like, I'm not failing. I'm just trying to figure things out. I'm learning what doesn't work and what does work, and using that information to help teach other parents who may not have the answers that I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So would you say that there's kind of a language that's unique to every child?
Absolutely. Every child is different. There's no normal child. There's no normal anything. This is just your child. And as a parent, it's your job to learn that child. Even both of my kids, I have two kids. They're both grown now, but they were both completely different. So everything I learned about the first child didn't always apply to the second. So I had to relearn that stuff. When I tell you that they're complete opposites, like complete opposites.
Yes.
And I would, and I hate using the word normal, but people can understand that. So normal meaning typical. So my typical child, my normal child, was more of a struggle for me than my child that had autism. And I'm like, why can't you be like your brother? And she would just laugh at me. So definitely each child has their own language, and you need to learn that. Just like with business, each business is different. And every single person that I mentor or coach, I have to learn that business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always a process because you were mentioning how each child is different. I'm a twin, and me and my brother, we watched a lot of movies and TV growing up, and we'd love to quote lines to each other.
Hmm.
It was usually like the punchline, but we would only say that to each other, and we would laugh, and then somebody would say something else, and we'd go back and forth like this for 10, 20 minutes at a time, and it was English, but it was not English. And my dad would get so frustrated. He's like, "You're speaking Kyle Landese again," because his name's Landon and my name's Kyle. So he's like, "You're speaking Kyle Landese," and so I think of that now because now I have two little girls, and of course one is very rambunctious, and one is
Hmm.
very one is more reserved, and so it's like, okay, how are they different, and how can I be the best dad to each one? And it's still a learning process, of course, because they're 4 and 1 year olds, so it's going to be a long time. But at the same time, it's like you got to learn this. You got to learn this.
Absolutely. My kids would do the same thing. And it was funny because, my son has communication issues, but they communicated in their own language. And half the time I had no idea what they were talking about, but they knew they had key words, they had key phrases, and they would be somewhere just laughing it up and talking. I'm looking at them like, I want in. I want to know what's going on. But they've always been super close like that, and I laugh when you're talking about you and your twin because I was like, yep, those are my kids. Even though they're not twins, they're actually 5 years apart, but you couldn't tell because they were so close to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And it's an amazing thing. It's great when siblings are like that, when they have that closeness and that bond. So then how are you able to take kind of that experience into coaching and mentoring?
Just like, those voices in my head that was telling me that I was a bad parent, I was failing,
Mhm.
I should be doing better. Those voices never went away. They're still there, and
Wow.
everything that I do, a lot of times they call that like imposter syndrome. Like,
Hmm.
you don't know what you're talking about. No one's going to buy your stuff. You're not a good coach. No one's going to buy, no one's going to, be a part of your services. People, you're fake, you're phony. All those voices are still there, and to be able to say, I'm not going to tune them out, but I have an answer. And my answer is yes, I belong here. Yes, I'm the best. Yes, people are looking for me. Yes, I know exactly what I need to do to serve my people.
Hmm.
And so when people come to me, it's like, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid of speaking. I don't want to be out of my comfort zone. I know how to answer that. I know how to deal with those because I had to deal with those same things. I'm not telling you something that I haven't experienced myself. And
Hmm.
so I can tell you things that work for me. I can tell you some things that work with other people. And then we go through it together, whether it's using affirmations, whether it's self talk, whether it's listening to other people that are motivating for you, whatever it is to take to get those voices to change the narrative of those voices in your head, because I don't believe they go away. I believe they will always be there. But to
Definitely.
change that narrative in your head to whenever they say something negative or nasty to you, you're like, that's not true. I
Hmm.
know the truth. Even if it's, even if you don't feel like you're living it right now,
Hmm.
know that it is the truth because the universe says so. The universe will say yes to whatever it is that you say. So if you are the best speaker out there, yes, you are. If you have, 10 clients that are paying you $10,000, yes, you do. If you're saying that every time you stand up to speak that you have the exact words that you need to say, yes, you will. And so that's how I kind of incorporate that into my coaching.
Definitely. Definitely. And you were talking about the self-talk, and that's exactly what I deal with every day. Because for the longest time I felt, this isn't working for me. I've been given a bad hand of cards. Maybe I should have tried harder at school, or maybe I should have done this, and maybe I should have done that. How do you answer that with your other clients who have who come to you with that imposter syndrome?
I am very truthful and authentic when it comes to me and my business. And I tell people every other day, I want to quit. Every other day,
Hmm.
I talk myself out of quitting because this route is not the easy route. Self employment, It's not easy at all. It's very easy to just go and work a job where you're not in charge, where you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to handle every single aspect. So it's easy. And so it takes a certain type of person to keep going, even if they don't want to quit, because this is bigger than you. Because in reality, this has nothing to do with you and how you feel. Most of us got into coaching. Most of us got into some area of entrepreneurship because we wanted to help others. So if you keep your focus on, I'm here for someone else. I'm here to show somebody the way. I'm here to provide a service for someone who needs it. Then it takes off all that pressure on you, because it's not about you. It's about serving someone else and their needs. And so that's why you show up. And that's why you keep creating content. And that's why you keep your business open, because someone else out there needs you.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And so, may I ask, like, how many clients are you helping right now?
If I have to put a number on it, with my mastermind and the one-on-ones and, the people that are in the summit, I have 40 people in the summit right now.
Wow.
And I'm helping every last one of them. So I would say at least over 150, just off the top of my head, of the amount of people that I'm actively helping right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do any of them come back after you've finished helping them to say, you were absolutely right, Tessa. What you taught me has really helped grow myself personally and my business?
I get testimonials like that all the time. I tell people one phone call from Tessa will change your life. And sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes it's just one small little thing that you can change in your business right now that will make all the difference. It's really difficult sometimes because you're in it. Mm-hmm. And you're like trapped in this little box or this little circle and you can't see out of it. And me, I'm on the outside looking in and I'm like, oh yeah, just do that. And they're like, well, that was easy. That's the 60-minute phone call that, you signed up for was over within 10 minutes. Wow. And they're like, wow, how do you do that? I'm like, I just know. This is my gift. People would call me a muse. A muse is there to help inspire you to be great. And that's kind of what I do. I just kind of wiggle in there and I become your muse. And I'm like, just do this, just do that. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And they're like, no. And usually what I ask or suggest is not something that's extremely difficult. It's something that they can do with ease and grace. So go ahead and try it and let me know how it works. And then later on that day, next week, they're like, oh my gosh, Tessa, you were so right. I'm like, I know, you should listen to me. And I do that jokingly, but it's true. I change people's life. And that's all you need sometimes. You've been at your business for the last 3 years and you haven't seen any growth. Why? Let me tell you why. And I can do that for you.
Would you like to be a guest on the Career Challenges podcast? Visit careerchallengespodcast.com to find out how. And while you're there, listen to all available episodes and subscribe through Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and CastBox. More outlets are coming soon. The Career Challenges podcast is produced by me, Kyle Weckerly, and I'm a certified ghostwriter. A little bit more about that. I work almost exclusively with business authors. I've worked with authors who are coaches, consultants, mentors, speakers, some high-ticket salespeople, C-level executives, and of course, business owners. My authors have worked for USAA, Vistage, Booz Allen Hamilton, Austin Technology Council, and the John Maxwell team. They want to write a book, and they want that book to help them expand their business. See, with a book in hand, they're able to market their expertise, or secure more speaking gigs, or promote their company, or all three, or maybe even more than that. They're not out to write a bestseller, though that would be nice. Instead, they have years of knowledge and experience, and sorting it out will be no easy task. More importantly, they want all that knowledge and experience to be an engaging read. To learn more about how you can become an author, visit WeckerlyWriter.com. That's WECKERLY WRITER.com and schedule a consultation today. And now, back to the Career Challenges podcast. So you had talked about putting on a summit. Can you tell me a little more about that?
Absolutely. And so I have been putting on summits now for several years, and growing and learning more about summits and how to kind of streamline it so that it is not just easy for me to put on, but extremely easy for anyone who's going to be participating in it. And so this time I'm doing the Be Whole, Be Free virtual summit, and it's a health and wellness summit.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about anything from parenting, relationships, sexuality, spirituality, entrepreneurship, business, everything. Because if one part of your life is kind of messed up, jacked up, it impacts the rest of everything that's going on. And I tell people, when things aren't right in my business, things are right in my health. I'm up late, I can't sleep, I'm probably not eating right. And so we tackle all those different things to make you whole and healthy, regardless of where it is. And again, we have 40 speakers. This is my largest virtual summit that I've done yet. And it's been the easiest one for me to do. And here's the best part. The participants have told me, wow, this has been the best summit I have ever participated in. You have everything down to a science. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't have to guess about anything. I've laid it all out. This is your responsibility. This is the timeline. This is how you do it. There's not this crazy back and forth going on. This is how you communicate with me. This is, every single thing that you need is located here, here, and here. And that's what I love to do. I love creating spaces. I love creating communities that are stress less and extremely inclusive. So we have people that are just now starting out. This is the first time they've ever done anything like this and need a lot of hand-holding. And we also have people who've done this 1,000 times and don't need anything but where's the link so I can load up my video. Mm-hmm. And so being able to navigate all those people, a lot of people are like, it's like herding cats. People are all over the place. You got to kind of gather them together. And every time you got them, there's one running around over there. But stress less. I'm not stressed out about this at all. And we started probably in May. And the summit is in August. So plenty of time to get everything together, everyone in the same place, grace and ease. That's what I'm all about.
Awesome. So what's the difference between a summit and a conference? Because it sounds to me kind of like a conference, though.
It is, but this is virtual. So it is all online. And I love virtual summits because regardless of where you are, no matter where you are in the world, you can come and attend. So you don't have to travel. You don't have to be there at a certain time. You don't have to pack up your kids. You don't have to take vacation. You don't have to do any of that. From the comfort of your home, all you have to do is get on your mobile device or your computer, and you can watch all of our speakers and all of the talks at your convenience. Who wouldn't want to participate or watch something like that? Some of these conferences, and it's free. Okay, it's free. So you don't have to spend thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars to go to a conference that's going to be several days away from your family, away from your work. You can do it for free right in the comfort of your own home. So that is one of the advantages or the difference between a conference and a virtual summit.
Wow.
Free.
Yeah. Free. That definitely jumped out at me. That word. It always gets people's attention. Oh, wow. Free. So, how long have you been putting on summits? Because you hinted that you've been at this for. This isn't your first rodeo, I should say.
This is definitely not my first rodeo. I put on my first summit 4 years ago, and it was a success for my first summit. I don't suggest people do it the way that I did it back then. I definitely did it the hard way. And we do that sometimes our first time because we don't
Yes.
know. So we try some things out. But, people came, they got what they needed. And my first summit was a writing summit because, again, I started off, writing a book about my son and my experience with autism. And that started me speaking. And so that whole summit was about writing and telling your story.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was good. But before I did that, I actually invested in someone else's summit. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't invest in a summit, but be very, very careful when someone wants to charge you to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I spent almost $2,000. I know, $2,000
Wow.
to be on someone else's platform. I didn't know any better. I knew, they promised me exposure and all these clients and all these great and wonderful things. They had so many speakers and some of these celebrity speakers. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're on a platform with celebrity speakers and you're an unknown,
Mm-hmm.
whose presentation do you think they're going to watch?
Yeah, the celebrity. Yeah.
Exactly. So me investing $2,000 to be a part of this summit, spending time, I went to a studio, rented studio space,
Oh my
all of that to
gosh.
be professional as I possibly could, and got zero return. Absolutely zero. So if you're going to invest, make sure that they're able to deliver on every single thing that they promise. I charge my participants $0. So it costs them absolutely nothing to be a part of my summit. However, they get to sell from the stage. They get, access to the emails. They get access to all these things. They get access to my other platforms too. So every single speaker got a chance to be in the magazine. Every
Mm-hmm.
single speaker got a chance to be on all my social media platforms. If you're a local, I have several people that are local to New Jersey and they got a chance to come to the chamber and speak there. So, I provide all these things and I even help them if they didn't know what to offer and what to sell. I got on a phone call with them and walked them through. That's why I said I'm actually coaching all of them. I walked them through how to create their offer and how to deliver it. I walked them through step by step on how to actually organize their presentation. I walked them into starting a mailing list for those who didn't have that. These are the things that I do when I set up a virtual summit for myself and for other people.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I'm feeling overwhelmed just listening to this. I mean,
It can be. It
yeah,
can be. I've been putting on events ever since I was like, 16, 17 years old. So this is easy for me to do. And that's why I tell people, if you don't want to do it, let me know and I will help you because this right here can, put your business on the map. This right here can get you leads. This right here can get you new clients. This right here can get you noticed in a space that maybe no one knew who you are. This is the purpose of the virtual summit. It is for you as a host and it's for every single speaker that's going to come because all 40 of these speakers are emailing their list and saying, hey, I'm going to be on this summit. All 40 of these speakers are advertising on social media. All 40 of these speakers are talking about it everywhere they go. So this is not just my audience, but they're all bringing all their audiences with them. And so I'm getting 40 times the exposure. Why wouldn't you be a part of a virtual summit? Why wouldn't you host your own virtual summit?
Wow. Yeah, so you had mentioned your very first one, you did it the wrong way. You did it the hard way. Can you expound on that?
Absolutely. So like right now I have a wonderful virtual summit software that I use that does almost every single thing that I need without thinking about it. But if you don't have software, you have to figure out where you're going to host it. So are you going to create a website? Are you going to use something like Facebook? Are you going to email people the videos? How are you going to do that? Then you got to figure out how you're going to get the information out. Like, are you emailing people from your Gmail account? Do you have a MailChimp account? How are you going to manage all of that? Then you have to figure out how you're going to manage communication back and forth between you and all of the speakers, which can take weeks to get that together. You got to figure out how you're going to advertise it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're first starting out, you may not know anything about Facebook ads, so you go and spend $300. Don't do this. Go and spend $300. But don't do that. And realize that you don't know anything about Facebook ads, so you just wasted $300.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, you don't have influencers, and so you don't have people putting the word out. You don't know how to get sponsors. You don't know how to do any of these things. And so something that could have been, where you have like a huge revenue or income from, or reoccurring income from, passive income, you now have zero because you have no idea what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though it was a great summit, I didn't make any money off of it because I didn't know how to do that. Now I do.
So again, just listening to all that, I'm feeling overwhelmed. But it sounds like it would be a great. I mean, even for somebody who's relatively new to an industry or a field, it sounds like a great way to really get traction and, like you said, put their business on the map. So, what is, I guess, a couple of key pieces of advice that you would offer?
So, the first thing that you want to do is figure out what type of summit you want to have. And so if you're a life coach and you work with, I'm a woman, so I work a lot with women. So you work with women who did a career change and now they're entrepreneurs. Well, now you want to have people that are talking about the same type of thing. You don't want to say, oh, let me have a health coach on here too. Why? Because now your summit looks like a hodgepodge. It doesn't look cohesive. It doesn't have a flow. And so you want to make sure that you're inviting people who are going to add to what it is that you're talking about and not be a distraction to what it is you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Another thing that you want to realize is if you're going to have some of these celebrity coaches, these celebrity business people on there, they need lots of time to say yes or no. So make sure that you're going out 6 months ahead of time to try to get them to be a part of your summit. And it's okay if you don't have any. This time, I don't think I have any celebrities on there, but I have real people to talk about real issues. And so when people go, they see themselves in my speakers. They don't see someone who'd be like, I can never be like them. I don't have the resources. I don't have what it takes. No, these are people just like you who can tell you advice exactly where you are right now in your life and in your business.
Mm-hmm. And so you had mentioned, giving that 6 months of lead time. Is 6 months kind of a good measuring stick, or would you suggest more maybe 12, 18 months?
If it is your first time, I'm going to suggest 12, 18 months if it's your first time doing it. And you're basically kind of doing it from scratch and trying to piece things together and make it work. If, say, for instance, if you hire me to do it, 6 months is all I need. Sometimes I can do it at 4, depending on how many speakers you have. If you have like 20 speakers, I can do it in 4. But usually I can get it done in 6 months. Being able to reach out to people, onboard them, get them ready, get all their talks or videos in, marketing, all of that I can do in 6 months.
All right. So you're doing this for other people, not just yourself.
Right. I can do it for myself. I can do it for other people because people are like, Tessa, how can I do what you do? And I'm like, I got you. I absolutely can help you do what I do because virtual summits are hot right now. People are doing them because, they understand the value of having this community of people talking, teaching about all these particular topics and having it being at the comfort of people's homes. A lot of times people are like, oh yeah, I wish I could go to this conference, but the timing is wrong, or I can't afford it right now, or what am I going to do with my kids, or I have work. And my summit is during the week. It starts on a Monday and it ends on a Saturday. If I was doing a live conference, there is no way that I'd be able to get as many people to show up that I can for this virtual summit.
So that leads me into my next question, because when you do it for other people, there's that client relationship that you have to wade through, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So my first question here, because there's going to be a second one, what was your favorite summit to put on for a client?
Well, I would like to say that a lot of my clients don't want other people to know that they're working with someone else, because they want to seem like that they're just doing it by themselves. And so I can actually do everything on the back end and just have someone just kind of show up like, hey, I'm the host. So I can't really go into that too much, because they probably don't want anybody to know that I was working with them.
Sure. So you're like a ghostwriter of virtual summits.
Yes, that's a great way. I could be a ghostwriter of virtual summits. I come in, do everything for you. And on the day, you know what? Even on the day of the summit, sometimes you don't even have to show up because it does it all by itself. Wow. So all you have to do is be like, hey, this is the day of the summit. Come watch the videos. And that's really all you have to do.
Yeah. So then, what would be your worst experience? Not necessarily your worst client, but just kind of the worst experience where you're like, man, it can't get any worse than this.
So the hardest thing is to get people to do what they say they're going to do. So say, for instance, you started off with 20 people who's going to be a part of the summit, right? And as you continue on, they have to turn in their bio. They have to give you the title of their talk. They have to give you their headshot. They actually have to record their video and turn it in. And as you're going through this process, you realize that people are dropping off. So now you have 19. Now you have 18. Now you have 17 people. And at the end of it, you may only have 10 people who completed everything they need to do from start to finish. And so one of the worst things that ever happened to me was not having enough people for the summit. So now I have to scramble to get more people because people, they didn't do it. They didn't commit fully to the summit. So that was pretty terrible.
So how do you find your speakers? Are these people you know personally, or are they referrals, or do you go to a speaker bureau?
All of the above.
Oh, wow.
All of the above. And so there are people that, they love Tessa. Why wouldn't you? And so every time I do something, they're ready to be like, whatever you're doing, I want to be a part of it. And then they refer people. And then, I will advertise. I'll go to, speaker bureaus. I will go to Facebook groups. I will do, put it out on LinkedIn or what have you that, hey, this is what we're doing. These are the type of speakers we're looking for. Click here to apply. And I go through every single application. Everybody doesn't get in. I promise you, everybody doesn't get in. But yeah, I put the word out everywhere I can. So that's why you don't get the same people every single time. You ever notice sometimes at the conferences, it's the same people over and over again? Yeah, I'm like, I've heard this before. That's not how it is when I do something. You'll get different people. Again, you may get first timers, you may get experts that's been doing this for 20 years. And so that's what makes my platform a little different than everybody else's. It's like, it's not the same people over and over again. Everyone is invited to be a part of any of the platforms that I have.
Awesome. So then how many applications do you normally get when you start the process?
Oh, I could get hundreds.
You don't have like a solid count. You've never, marked, okay, this is how many I started with and this is how many I ended with.
Well, with this one, I can't say how many applications that I have. But for this one, my goal was to only have 30. I only wanted 30 speakers. That was it. I ended up going over, and now I have almost 50. Wow. Because I kept running into people that had something really great and something different. What happens is you get a lot of people who want to talk about the same things. So I'm like, I already said yes to this person that talks about this, and I'll get like 50 people who want to talk about the same thing. I was like, no, I need to find something different. So when I find something different, I'm like, yes, this is what I want. Because nobody wants to hear 15 talks about the same thing. So I want to make sure that there are so many different varieties, so many differences, so many different topics that people can engage in. So yeah, I can get hundreds of applications and only say yes to 30 or 40 of them.
Wow. So do you have recurring summits, like one that you do every year at the same time, or it sounds like you do different ones year to year?
I do different ones because my interests change. I'm one of those people's like, you know what? I'm interested in this right now. And so I'm going to put on a summit about this topic. But now I'm running into clients who are like, every year they want to do a summit. So they worked with me this year and they're like, well, next year we want to do this again. And I was like, great. And so they tell me, invite these people back and then go and find some other people. And I was like, I can do that for you.
Definitely. Wow. So they're keeping you busy then.
They are. And I love being busy because this is fun. You know, yeah, there's some work to it and things like that, but I really enjoy being a part of community, helping build community, giving people an opportunity to speak and to show up. Because this is what this is about. People can't find you unless you show up. And this is one of the easiest ways to do it, especially since, you know, you have weeks to get your video together. You have weeks to get your topic together. You have all the help that you can possibly need. Why wouldn't you do it? Even as a first timer, why wouldn't you? I don't leave you out there anxious, don't know what to do. I take you by your hand and walk you through every step of the process. So you would definitely want to be a part of Tessa's virtual summits.
Definitely. Well, now I want to be part of Tessa's virtual summit, so
Yay!
I'll have to find something that works with any one of your upcoming summits. But
you definitely have an invite.
Oh, thank you. That was really what I was gunning for there. But you know, you don't want to come out and just ask.
It's perfectly okay to be straightforward with me. I don't mind at all.
Thank you. So, all right. So switching gears here a little bit, you had mentioned you wrote a book, and since I'm a ghostwriter and I love books and I'm helping people write books, tell me about your book.
So the very first, I've written several books, and you know, I've helped some people write books. But my very first book, and you're gonna love this. So my very first book is called "Mad at the World: What to Do When You're a Special Needs Parent." Mm-hmm. And the reason why I wrote this book, I was part of a community, and the owner of this community was going to do a webinar on how to write your books, to publish a book on Amazon, right? Mm-hmm. And so she asked for people to volunteer their book. And so I volunteered mine. It's like, hey, you can use mine. I told her what it was about. She loved it. And she was like, yes, Tessa, I'm going to use your book. Well, I hadn't written it at all. There was literally no book. And
well,
so
you had the demand now. You had the demand. You just had to create the supply.
So now I had to write this book. And I wrote my first book over a weekend in 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
I sat here, I shut myself away from the world, you know, and that's all I did for 3 days was write this book. And so I wrote it and I gave it to her. She loved it. She published it on Amazon. It became an Amazon bestseller, yada, yada, yada. And everybody's like, Tessa, how did you do that? And so I started teaching people how to write their book in a weekend. Now, I don't suggest doing that all the time, but no, you don't want to do that all the time. But it is possible, especially for, you know, some shorter books. You can definitely knock it out in a weekend. So yeah, that was my very first book. And it's really a book about forgiving yourself and forgiving your friends and family, because they are, not only may you be having a hard time with, you know, a loved one that's newly diagnosed and you don't know what you're doing and you're trying to understand what they're going through. Your friends and family, they don't know what to do, and they don't know how to approach you, and they don't know how to help, and they don't know any of those things. So they can do things that to harm you, but it's not on purpose. They just don't know. Mm-hmm. And so it's a book on forgiving them for not being there, forgiving them for ghosting on you, forgiving them for saying the wrong thing, forgiving them for not knowing how to help you. Mm-hmm. And so that's what my book is about.
Wow. That's some powerful stuff.
Thank you.
And you said you wrote multiple books. So how many books have you written?
So I've ghostwritten a lot of books too. So if you look at my name on Amazon, I think 4 books pop up. Mm-hmm. But there's many more and many more that are halfway done, waiting to be published under my name. So, you know, I tell people I'm the only Contessa Louise. So if you search for Contessa Louise, you will find me.
Wow. So you got 4 out there. All right, great.
Yep. I got 4 floating out there under my own name.
So I'll definitely have to look into those. And, you know, we touched on it earlier, but I do want to give you that opportunity to talk more about your summit coming up, I'm going to say this wrong.
It's fine. It's Be Whole, Be Free.
Be Free, that's what I meant.
Yeah, Be Whole, Be Free.
Yeah, because I had the note in front of me. Okay, you need to mention this. We need to talk about this. And then I'm looking for it. And all I see is just words. I'm like, where's the words I'm looking for?
That happens to me often too. I'm like, either that or I can't read my own notes. Terrible at note taking. So yeah, Be Whole, Be Free Virtual Summit. Over 40 experts sharing their best strategies and tactics to help you live your best whole life. From parenting and relationships, sexuality, spirituality, even entrepreneurship and business. We have something for everyone. Now, the easiest way to find the summit is to go to my magazine, Modern and Alternative Health Magazine, maldandalt.com. And from there, there's a big old thing you can click on that says Virtual Summit. Yeah. Or you can just look me up anywhere on social media, Contessa Louise, and I promise you will find something about the Virtual Summit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was doing my research before, and like you said, it's plastered right there. You go to the magazine site, and it's right there, so you can't miss it.
You definitely can't miss it. And again, it's free. Now, of course, you can get all access passes, which will give you access to all of the talks indefinitely. So that's something that you can definitely invest in. But to be a part of the summit during August 12th through the 17th, absolutely free 99. So go ahead and take part.
Awesome. And you had mentioned you do more than just summits and helping people put on summits. You're also a coach and mentor, right?
Absolutely. I'm a coach and a mentor. Everybody needs a coach. I even have my own coach and mentor. I tell people,
so do I, yeah.
Yeah, don't trust a coach or a mentor who doesn't have their own coach and mentor. Like, why are you asking me to buy into something that you're not buying into? We all need those people to, that are a couple steps ahead of us, to lead us, to guide us, to bounce ideas off of, to be in a mastermind, to help you, and sometimes to just vent. Because these are the people who know exactly what you're going through because they've gone through something similar. So I am definitely available for group coaching and for one-on-one coaching as well for those who have been in business for, 1 to 4 years and feel like that, maybe I could be a little further along than I am right now. And I just need someone to help me figure out what it is that I can do. I'm here. Allow me to be your muse.
Well, that's a lot of great stuff that we talked about on the show today. But I just want to make sure, is there anything else that you wanted to mention that I may not have given you the opportunity to say?
So another way to find out more about me is go to my main website. Everything falls underneath ContessaLouise.com. And from there, all it is a click away from all the different projects that I'm involved in. So again, ContessaLouise.com. You can find out everything that I'm doing there.
Awesome. And then what's the date again, just one more time, for the Be Whole, Be Free Summit?
Yeah, you got it this time. The Be Whole, Be Free Summit runs from August the 12th to August the 17th. Every day, all day long. You can catch it. All of our talks. We have over 40 experts, over 40. So go, enjoy, be whole, be free.
Awesome. It only took me 3 times, but I got it right on the 3rd time. So, but Contessa Louise, thank you so much for being on the Career Challenges podcast. It has really been my pleasure to be talking with you today.
Thank you so much for having me. And again, I am totally looking forward to working with you in the future.
All right, me too. Thank you for listening to the Career Challenges podcast. Visit careerchallengespodcast.com to listen to more episodes and subscribe. And don't forget to schedule a consultation to talk about your book today by visiting weckerlywriter.com. That's WECKERLYWRITER.com.